Hello, my wonderful friends. It's time again for another video story. I'm not really sure. This is an interesting one. This is actually a reply to another post. So let's just get into it. I have no idea what this is going to entail. From Reddit user The Inctopus. This is a reply to Sigh the Fluid Guy Part 2, video and artist advice from a furry prawn vet. Oh boy. I'm scared already. I don't know where this is gonna go. Here we go, kids, buckle in. So I wasn't exactly sure how to title this. Sorry about that. But you asked a question at the end of the video that I had to reply with. I've been drawing furry porn for the better part of 8-9 years, I believe. It's been a while, and I can say confidently, with my whole chest, that yes, there is a fetish for sending artists outlandish and inappropriate requests. Oh god, I didn't want that to be real. But not the rejection part, though. I'm sure there is a niche group out there that gets off on that. I really didn't want that to be real. It's the discomfort and the disgust of the artist that does it for them. It's the same way dudes send dick pics to women's that say, no dick pic. Or folks that flash their bits in public, or send disgusting videos to people for the express purpose of ruining their day. Yeah, I guess I can see that. The taboo of being told no and then doing it anyway because you can't tell me what to do, I'll knock you down and peg and dare you to put up boundaries for me, is a weird fetish for a lot of people. Yeah, ish. Be it sexual or internet troll logic, it very much exists out there in the world, and new artists should know that because it doesn't always come in the form of absolutely disgusting requests, but things like, I know you've revised this picture 8 times already, and your policy only says 3 revisions, but I'm just not happy. Can you fix this minor detail I could have told you about in the first edit? Yeah, there's always assholes, isn't there? And just running over all the boundaries that you've set up, because it makes you uncomfortable, and it gets them what they want in the end. But it's also about entitlement. It's the incel entitlement to not just your time, but also an entitlement to your meeting their sexual needs, even indirectly. And for an artist, they feel entitled to you, the person that told them no, that you must fulfill their desires, not because they get off on rejection, but because rejection is one of their biggest insecurities, and they can't move past the rejection and just find another artist that will draw their fetishes, because there are so many out there. So many. You can't throw a rock without finding an artist for a niche fetish on your Fur Affinity or DeviantArt, or any other sites like that. But they cannot and will not move past the idea that you do not want to do the fetish art. And it circles back to that punishment all over again, until it becomes a fetishistic behavior. Like a kid acting out to get attention, honestly. They are getting some kind of attention, even if it's not good. Luckily for myself, I haven't had any horror stories in a really long time, and I've been drawing for my clients so long that I've got a pretty good base of people that respects and understands my limits on their fetishes. When I first started out, I very much had people sending me things that were way, way, way above my skill level and way beyond my comfort level, and taking advantage of my lack of client pool and need for money in order to get their fetishistic art done at a cheap price from an artist with no backbone to tell them no. And there are people out there that run through young, unexperienced artists until they're all burned out and then move on to the next one so they can use and manipulate them. I'm officially 30 now, and one of the olds. Oh, honey. And I'm going to offer words of advice to any young artist out there looking to make some side money or a career out of their skills. 1, no is a complete sentence. That is actually very good advice. No is something we all need to learn how to say, honestly. It's difficult, but You're going to have people early on that are going to push your boundaries. They're going to try and weasel and wiggle around your rules by using technically and what if until you're frustrated and just give in to stop the questions. You're the artist here. You're not a machine that someone slaps inputs into and then you spit out a product. Your art is a luxury and no one else is entitled to your work. If you, for whatever reason, are uncomfortable with any piece, you can say no, and you do not have to explain yourself. Sorry, I'm not comfortable with this idea. Come back to me with a different idea and be happy to work with you. Even if it is safe for work. If something just puts you off, no. You have to enjoy the art you make just as much as they should enjoy it at the end of the day. Number 2. Set up a Google document form for commissions. If you're ADHD like me, that little bit of work can seem like a nightmare, but trust me, you will kick yourself for not having made one before. Not only will it keep things organized for future reference and keep you from having to track down important information you need later on, like payment address and so on, it creates a barrier between you and future clients so that you can engage with them at your timetable, not the other way around. If you have people asking about commissions and trying to commission you, there's a bit of pressure to respond to them as quickly as possible because so many messenger systems nowadays have a read message system that lets folks know when you've read their message. With a form, you can email them back whenever you have free time, and having read over their info can decide before you decide to contact them back, if you're going to take it or decline, honestly. It also keeps you from having to have your email out and about for people to email you all willy-nilly. For weirdos that just want to troll you or send you weird shit, they'll have to go through the process of filling out some long, extensive form without being able to skip any of the form lines, even the direct satisfaction of a read message to show that you've seen it. It won't detour every single one, but it will detour some of them and make it a whole lot easier on your end. Number 3, post your no's clearly and do not make a maybe list. If someone asks you for something on your no list, just direct them back to it without explaining any more. But do not make a maybe list if anything on that list makes you uncomfortable and you do not want a lot of requests for it. It's advertisement for people with that above fetish, and they will do anything to put you in situations where you're arguing down clients about your limits, and you will not have fun with that. Decline these folks in private and only work on things that you are openly okay with. Anything else will just lead to burnout. Take it from me, it's not a fun place to be. Number 4, charge them. So I've been there. We've all been there. A few short on bills or needing some money for groceries or gas. If you're going to entertain the idea of doing a commission that makes you uncomfortable, you charge them for everything that they're worth. Double, triple, quadruple, whatever your normal fee. Either they pay, you've got to get your bill paid, or they don't, and you don't have to deal with them. Do not be uncomfortable for free. Make it worth your time and the headache. Though, don't let this come across as support for, illegal things. I'd rather starve than draw CP or anything like that. But the idea of drawing Goku with a dump truck ass and a tramp stamp that just weirds you out, but you've got bills to pay, $20 is $20 doesn't apply here anymore. Push that shit up to 100 for the pain and suffering you had to go through reading that request, and then add that little extra for a personal tip. Personal commissions are a luxury. You gotta pay for a luxury. And number 5, do not fall for the pity party. If you tell someone once that they've made you uncomfortable, they apologize, and they never do it again, consider the matter settled. But like with nice guys, just like with the neckbeards and incels and other people of that ilk, do not fall for the pity party they will try to pull when they are called out on their shit. If you told them once why you're uncomfortable, then no neurodivergent disorder will excuse simply ignoring your clear boundary that you've explained it. It stops being a problem with social cues when you've told them no and why already. No amount of depression and loneliness and pain and suffering at home can excuse making you uncomfortable with graphic sexual fetishes being forced on you against your consent. No self-flagellation, no self-deprecating apology to make themselves the victim to change that you are the wronged party. There's a pressure in the art community to not be a bitch, to be easy to work with, because it's such a word-of-mouth business. But you do not have to put up with that shit in order to build your business. You do not have to live in misery of getting requests just because you're scared of getting a bad reputation. They will get a bad reputation long before you do if they are engaging in behaviors like this. You will eventually grow your client pool so that you never have to worry about this sort of thing, but you won't have time for all the good clients you can if you're coddling these baby adults. Save your time and energy for the artwork and clients that you like and enjoy working with. Thanks for letting me write this, Moonhorse and the Moonherd. I hope this gives y'all insight from an insider. Be safe and healthy. Forgive any typing errors. I'm on mobile and trying to eat breakfast while typing this. Well, I'm just going to say this is actually fantastic advice. So thank you so much, Inktopus, for sharing this. This is actually amazing advice. And this is stuff that I've had to learn doing this job too. Granted, I'm not an artist, but there are a lot of things that come across my desk because of this. A lot of stories that I've had to go over, and some I've had to reject simply because they don't really fit, what we're doing. As of recently, I've altered the rules specifically for what needs to be applied whenever you're, sending me a story. It's on the subreddit. It's literally the first post on the subreddit. You can see it. And you can go over it, and there's not really that big of a deal. Have I had a few people send me stuff or kind of go against these rules? A little, but I don't do anything with those. If it's done like that, if it's done in a way that makes me uncomfortable, I used to give these things, credence and actually go through with them. But, no, not anymore. Mainly because, like Inktopus said, if you spend so much time doing these things that you don't enjoy, what are you doing? What is your job? It's very much like that. There is a huge thing like that. I've recently started trying to work on projects where I can branch out, not just doing stories, but other things. And I realize they're not going to be nearly as popular. I realize that a lot of people probably won't be as into them as I am. But I need to change things up a little bit. Because, again, it is still my life. It's still my job. And it's still something, I want to do. I tried just doing stuff that, everything in private. And then only focusing on just the stuff that is, I guess, popular or whatever for the channel. And I realized that eventually led me to the point where I just hated working. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to hate this job. So burnout is absolutely a thing, and having to deal with a lot of things that you're just not really happy with can cause that. So there is a balance that you need to find, and sometimes it's difficult. I mean, hell, I've been doing this, 3-4 years, and I'm still trying to find the balance. It's tricky, but you can do it. It's totally a thing that is workable. It's hard working in a kind of... I hate to use the word industry, but that is kind of a general term, isn't it? God, I hate that word. So, it's hard working in that, especially like a creative field, if you're like a musician or an artist or a comedian like myself, or, things like that. Because, like Inktopus said, a lot of it is word of mouth, and you're really worried that other people won't, like you, won't appreciate or care about what you're doing, and that it'll somehow backfire and everything will go bad. So it's handy to have things that kind of specifically set, I guess concrete numbers in front of you. Specific things that will say, it is this, this, and this. I don't really pay a huge... I'm not one of those people who's just I've got to have all the subscribers. I'm not that. But if I glance at the thing, if you have YouTube and you do this kind of stuff, there's a thing called Studio, and it tells you, an active thing with subscribers or whatever. If I glance at that while I'm getting ready to upload a video or something, and I see that it's gone up by, 2, I'm happy. It means I've done something good enough that 2 people wanted to hang around. So, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's it's little things like that that can cause reassurance. And like Inktopuss said, when it comes to like the commission thing and everything, make, you know, the document. Make your documents, make a form, do these kind of things. That kind of stuff really helps. I know it seems really ridiculous, and this video is going on really long, but, you know, whatever. I know it can seem really ridiculous, but it actually does. And despite my feelings on a lot of different big tech companies and things like that, Google actually has a fantastic spreadsheet system of just a slew of different apps. I recently only just realized they have a thing called Keep Notes, or Keep, the Google thing, and essentially it lets you can go to it on your phone, there's an app for it, or you can get it on your computer, which is great for me, because I prefer to type with a keyboard, because I'm old like that. And what it does is, if you have the app on anything else, it makes copies of those things. It essentially saves it on their own little storage thing, and you access it through your account. This is a really roundabout way of saying that I myself have trouble keeping track of things and tend to forget things, which is why I have little accounts like that, so that I can leave myself notes. And it helps hugely. I didn't realize how important it was until I started really using it, and it really, really helps. I can make lists for shopping and all this other stuff, and that kind of stuff can help whenever you're doing stuff like this. If you can't remember commissions, if you have trouble with things you're trying to keep up with, make a note, send it to yourself. There's absolutely no shame in sending yourself notes. It really helps. Like I said, I do it all the time. Scheduling is definitely an important thing. I have to adhere myself to a very specific schedule. I can only work so many hours of the day when it comes to recording because I need everything to be quiet. Usually that's at night. So the other half of that is, even if you are, you know, working commissions, working from home, doing these things by yourself, set yourself a work schedule. You need to, because otherwise you're going to spend far too many hours doing stuff that you're just going to burn yourself out on it. Mine specifically is that I am allowed to record and work on a project, whatever project, until midnight specifically. After that, we're done. That's quitting time. Has to be. Because I have, on more than one occasion, kept myself up at all hours of the night because I've been working on a project and didn't want to stop because I didn't feel like it was finished. That's not healthy. And I did definitely burn myself out on things repeatedly. And Sango's had to tell me, like, you have to take a break. You have to, because you're going crazy. And yeah, there's a very specific thing about that. So this is actually a fantastic list of advice, and I cannot thank Inktopuss enough for sharing this with us. The big one, though, like they said, no is a complete sentence. It's hard to say no sometimes, but it's a lesson we all need to learn. Sometimes you just have to say no, and there's no shame in that. I have to do that with certain, like, stories that come across my desk. I'll look at them, they're either too short, or they're not, you know, they're obviously fake, but they're not listed as, like, fanfics. And that's one of the reasons why I had to add the rules. Because I got tired of constantly looking at all these random things and going, no, 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 over and over again. I needed to create a policy that made things work a little better. And creating that policy is important. And there is no shame in charging for your work. This idea that we're not allowed to talk about money, or how much you charge, or how much this or that or the other thing, these are ideas perpetuated by, like, business groups that don't want you to talk about how much money you make, because then you might tell your coworkers and they'll realize they're not getting paid enough, or you're not getting paid enough, and that might cause you to be angry about it. You should absolutely be allowed to talk about how much you make. There's no reason you shouldn't. So, feel free. That's totally fucking fine. But with all that being said, I hope this helps anybody in at least one way or another. I think Inktopuss's advice is fantastic, and I really hope that that helps you guys. And thank you again for submitting this. This is super helpful. I know that there are a lot of artists and, you know, different creative types who listen to this, and I hope this helps you. So, you know, that's my little weird podcasty thing here. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you do the YouTube thing with the like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I also have a merch store and a Ko-Fi, which are more important than the YouTube thing. That's how I get food. But yeah, no, check those out. There's new designs. There's sales that are supposed to be coming up soon. I really need to check Threadless again. They're supposed to be putting out new stuff, and when they do, I will make an announcement about it. I don't think it's out yet, though. So, we'll see. Anyway, those things, links to that and more, all of that, including this list that Inktopuss made, will be below this video. So if you want to check it out for yourself, go for it. And while you're there, because that list is on my subreddit, if you feel like you want to leave a story, go right ahead. I'd appreciate it. I do like a story. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. I love you all. Goodbye.